your CRM system holds everything that you need to know about your customers. It's the central hub that your teams can turn to for all of their customer information needs. Now remember, Leah just said that any business would benefit from having a CRM. So if you're in the business of adding customers, which basically means if you're in business, a CRM is going to help. It solves some problems for you. So for example, if you've got one lead, you can handle it. You know what it is, you know where it is, you know what it looks like, you know what you've done with it. Same thing if you have 2 leads. Oop. Drop that. That's okay. If you have 2 leads. They're sort of similar, but mostly different. You can handle that too, right? Just 2. Maybe if you've got 3. Okay. Still pretty easy, right? But what if you have this many leads? What are you supposed to do then? What are you supposed to do with all this different information? This many touch points, these channels, these questions, these potential leads, potential customers. It seems impossible to keep track of all of them unless you've got a CRM. So your info might be in too many places and it takes forever to find what you need. Or your business is growing fast and you can't really just hire someone only to organize things. Or maybe it's difficult to keep track of all the different communication channels you have. Or maybe you don't have a clear sales process yet, so you've got to figure everything out from scratch. Every single time you try to sell is like the first time over and over again. This is where a CRM comes into play. Now, all of this sounds great, right? Save time, make money, reduce stress and anxiety, provide clarity. I don't understand why we have been referring to it as CRM and not the miracle software. This thing sounds incredible. But how do you choose one? There are hundreds of them. They all do different things. They have different benefits. They have different advantages. How do you choose? And then when you choose, how do you implement the CRM in a way that ensures that your CRM isn't DOA? This seems kind of overwhelming. Where do you start? How do you start? Please don't tell me it's another acronym. Tabitha, can you help? Can you help here? Where do we start? And is it an acronym?
It's not an acronym.
Oh, good.
And don't fret. You know, honestly, while implementing your CRM can seem overwhelming, nobody knows your business better than you, right? Now, as you start to think about your CRM and what it should look like, think about the things you are doing every day. We have already considered the customer experiences we want the contacts to have. What kind of experiences do you want people to have pre-sale? This is your opportunity to make a lasting impression on your contacts. You are thinking about organization still, and that is always a priority. You want to keep thinking about how you can have your contacts continue to move forward. Start with what you know. What are the different things that you need to put in front of a contact before they become a customer? What are the different pieces of information that you keep as you continue to learn about them? What tangible things are crucial in identifying how you and your prospects are a match? These are all questions you want to ask yourself as you're building out your pipelines. When you start to recognize that you can digitize in your CRM, everything begins to come together. This is what a CRM is all about. Removing the bulky filing cabinets, alleviating the manual work, keeping things crystal clear. When a CRM is set up with intention, you are opening up opportunities for your business that you never had time for before. Don't worry about getting it all perfect at once. This is a journey. You'll refine, iterate, and streamline your processes as time goes on. As your business grows and changes, you'll learn more about what works for you. Leah has helped countless businesses of different sizes and across industries implement CRMs. Let's take a listen to what she has to say about this.
If you've got a business owner who is starting to evaluate CRMs for the first time, there are tons of them, and you know better than anybody that there are a ton of CRMs. How does a business go about selecting a CRM? Where do they start? What kind of questions should they ask themselves?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. So, all right, the real truth, this is really what I tell people, all right? What I really tell people is that CRMs are fairly evolved at this point. And so nearly every CRM has the same core functionality. They all have contacts, they all have tasks, they all have deals and pipelines, right? So then it becomes, what additional things do you want or need for, like I said, the business that you want to become, right? And so I would also I also tell people that you should sign up for a lot of, for a few different CRMs, and you can totally decide based on just the experience, playing around with it. Do you like looking at it even? Is it pleasing to your eye? Because if this is something you're going to have to look at, you're going to have to like it, right? If it's ugly to look at, you're not going to want to keep using it. And so I be superficial. Choose the one that you like looking at the most. But I think also one part of this process is give yourself a timeline to evaluate and make it a real project. So if you choose the few that you're going to evaluate, say, all right, I'm going to play around with it on these dates, and I'm going to sort of make the decision after that. And I think that the last step is to make the decision and then stop making the decision, right? Because of the number of options that are out there, it's very easy to sort of have CRM envy, right? The moment you might hit a roadblock in the one that you chose, you think you might have made the wrong decision. Go with it, stay with it, give it a fair shot. And I promise that you'll start to see some value from it.
How do you think about the CRM implementation process? From someone who, maybe has just learned about what it is and is starting to think about, maybe I should incorporate this into my business. What are the things that they should kind of be looking at in terms of going about implementing this thing?
Yeah, and I think the implementation is a big sort of mental and logistical stumbling block for a lot of folks. Having implemented many CRMs, and I've tested nearly every CRM out there, and I've done a lot of implementations. I actually do it in a way that's different than what's recommended by a lot of the platforms themselves. I approach it kind of differently. So most guides out there will tell you to start with your contacts. You take everybody you've ever met, anybody who's in your database, and you start to put them into the CRM, right? So that you can populate it with hundreds or thousands of people. But I actually recommend to my students and clients to start with the sales process. So what most CRMs and what ActiveCampaign would call your deals in your deal flow. So if you can, the first step is just to set up the stages of your sales process and then add only the contacts that are associated with those deals, and then add the deals in with the contacts so that you have sort of populated your sales pipeline. If you start in this way, then the CRM is already providing value to you because it allows you to get a good view of your revenue and your pipeline and all that. And then you can backfill the contacts later. Not too soon. Don't wait too long, but let it be the second step so that you're already getting value and the CRM is already quickly making your life easier.
I think that is such an important point, and that's actually something that we advocate for pretty strongly at ActiveCampaign. We like to say process before software. So just really figuring out what's the starting point, what's the ending point, what's all the pieces in between before you even get everything in there, and then you kind of feel like you have to start moving and start using this thing, and you don't even really know like what you're doing. So I think that's a very important point from the perspective that you had said you've used all kinds of different CRMs and you work with businesses of all different sizes and types. How does the CRM implementation process or setup process differ from business to business? How do you approach that?
To be honest, I don't think it has to differ when
Okay.
you get started with a CRM, and just for the first time. I think that if the benefit of a CRM is to become your revenue engine, then start with where the revenue lives, which is in the pipeline, and then backfill with contacts, with tasks, with tags, with automations, all those other things. But let focus on what's going to bring you the most value and is tied to the revenue first.